All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to Morning Market Update for this beautiful Wednesday, November 6th of 2019. This is George Papasov, Trade Pro Academy. We're really excited to have you. We got our hockey jerseys made. They made them a little big, like a goalie fit, so I'm going to have to get that fixed. But this is a really cool jersey. This is the St. Pat's, the Toronto Maple Leafs, old school retro hockey jersey with the Trade Pro green. How awesome is that? That's kind of cool for me. I do actually plan to play hockey in it. At some point, you're going to see some marks on it. Let's get started today by mentioning a few things. We got some stuff to talk about, not much. News flow's a little light overnight. But let's start out with this. Bank of Japan's meeting minutes came out yesterday, all right, for their September meeting, and they said that it's appropriate to persistently continue with powerful easing and that Japan's economy had been on a moderate expanding trend, although exports, production, and business sentiment have been impacted by overseas slowdown. All right, imagine what would happen if Jerome Powell said that they're on a powerful easing. The market would probably be trading at 5,000. So this is the reality of Japan. Here's the other reality of Japan. They've been in a powerful easing since the 90s, the early 90s. All right, and they haven't been able to get out of this low rate environment because what you create when you drop interest rates is addicts. All right, addicts to free money, and why not? Cheap money is great. Everyone loves it, except savers. All right. Members in the Bank of Japan meeting shared the view that it was becoming increasingly necessary to pay closer attention to momentum and its slowing growth. And on that news, Ray Dalio as well has a few things to mention. Last night, or yesterday rather, he mentioned the world has gone mad. This is really cool. Look, I respect Ray Dalio. I read a lot of actually all of his books that he's ever written. Right. I've studied them quite a bit as well. And he believes the world's gone mad. And I'm going to give you some quotes that are very interesting from him. My favorite book, I'm just checking here. It's not on the shelf. I lent it to my accountant. My accountant got excited about it. I gave it to him. It was the Big Debt Crisis. All right. Great case studies there of what happened. Strongly recommend you pick that book up. In fact, I think if you're in the US, it's free to download as a PDF, as an ebook. All right. So here's what he said, Ray Dalio. In some cases, and this is the one that really sort of that really makes sense to me, that resonated with me. He said, in some cases, venture capital investors are pushing money onto startups that don't want more money. Wait, this wasn't the one. It's the last one. I'll tell you in a second. But he said, in some cases, venture capital investors are pushing money onto startups that don't want more money because they already have more than enough. All right. However, investors are threatening to put that money into their competitors, which is going to end up harming them in the long run. All right. It's an interesting quote. All right. In addition to that, he said, money is free for those who are credit worthy. This is the one that was important for me. Money is free for those that are credit worthy because investors who are giving it to them are willing to get back less than they gave them, which in effect is negative yield. You look at countries around the world, the Bund, the German 10-year bond, it's not called a bond, it's a Bund. Don't you dare call the German 10-year a bond. You will see a lot of opposition. All right, the Bund is yielding a negative amount. All right, it's a negative yield bond. It means when you hold it, you're going to lose money. It means you're paying to keep your money in a safe place. All right, storage of capital is no longer yielding the same results. It's a global phenomenon. The United States interest rate is low, but by gosh, is it really large compared to other major economies around the world? All right, who have lowered interest rates down to negative, NERP, negative interest rate policy. All right, Japan actually has a negative interest rate. And so here's what else says. The rich capitalists will increasingly move to places in which wealth gaps and conflicts are less severe, and government officials in those losing taxpayers will increasingly try to find ways to trap them. So what Ray Dalio is saying here is, if you got money and you're in a country where you're not getting yield for your money, you're going to move it elsewhere outside the country. And what that creates is offshore banking, right? Offshore investments, which means the returns don't get repatriated back to the United States. Cash outflow or a run on a country essentially is a very damaging thing for the economy. And so that's an interesting thing that he mentioned. It's already happening. Last year, there were more people, more really wealthy people that filed to leave the United States than ever before. Very interesting stat. It's not a ton of them, but it was more, and it's interesting. And the money is more, there's a word for it. It travels faster without borders. Okay, money is not like a human being. It doesn't need a passport to go across borders. It's a very interesting concept. This is more long-term as well. All right, he said the system of making capitalism works well for most people is a broken idea. So that's Ray Dalio. In other news this morning, Saudi Arabia is pressing OPEC members for production cuts ahead of its Aramco IPO, reports the Wall Street Journal. There was a great article written on it this morning, released around 5:30. All right. The upcoming OPEC conference is on December 6th, and there is some indication that they're going to be cutting output production, which is putting a little bit of a bid in oil. Right at 5:30, as that article dropped, the oil market spiked. Not by a lot, but it reacted. So it's listening to the news. All right, that's the news flow for this morning. It's not really news, just Saudi Aramco and Saudi Arabia pushing some production cuts or has an idea of production cuts to OPEC. Some Ray Dalio quotes and the Baji, Bank of Japan. All right, fun fact, Baji will be my first kid's name because it's cute. All right, Peloton down 7.6%. All right, it just IPO'd down 7.6% on profit concerns. Markets worldwide are pretty much flat. I read out the quotes for you, but the strongest one's India, up 0.6%. Everything else is flat. S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow are perfectly flat. All right, no advancement at all. Today's economic calendar, we have Fed's Evans speaking this morning. 9:30, you have Fed's Williams speaking. So we have a couple Fed speakers. 10:30 is the big time of the day. It's oil inventory, and we're going to see the latest release of the Department of Energy's numbers. All right, we saw yesterday's API numbers, and today there's a tradable opportunity. Last week was a great report for the DOE. Our members made really good money on the oil market. All right, and this week we're going to do the same thing. We just see the data come in, let the market price it in for the first minute or so, and then jump on board for the continuation of the trend. If you want to see how we trade crude oil and how we're so successful with it, join the trading room today. Check it out, and it still falls within the 14-day money-back guarantee. All right. I don't know where this idea TradePro came out that there's a 14-day trial. Anyone that's listening, if you're considering signing up, there is no 14-day trial. There's no trial of anything. All right. You pay, and then you get a refund within 14 days if you don't like it. I don't like giving stuff away for free. And the only reason I don't like giving stuff away for free is because every single free thing I've gotten in my life has cost me the most amount of damn money ever. Why would I do that to you? Why would I put you through that? Not cool. Anyone who gives you something free doesn't care about you or is winning in some way that you don't see. All right, at least I'm straightforward with it. Crude oil is down 0.6%. Where's crude oil at right now? Crudella is pushing to her overnight high at 57.31. She's a crude mistress indeed. 57.31's overnight high, and we're at yesterday's close. Prior day high is 57.5. So we're starting to push to that upside. Nice little rally here off the open. Textbook trade of what we look for. So some of the people probably got as I'm here yapping on YouTube. Gold is up 0.4%. All right, but still below the 1,500 marker, well below it. It's at 1485 at the moment. Big sell-off. It's not a 1485. Hang on, let me move the chart. It's at 1489, still below 1500. All right, big sell-off yesterday as equities advanced. All right, yesterday we started with the short bias, and my God, did we do well. All right, the whole room was up to a large degree. I think it was like a 70% exactly positive ratio. 70% of people with live money were profitable yesterday or break even, right? Positive expectancy. So that was a great number. We started with the short bias, and we got some of it. Today, to be honest with you, today I see consolidation for the S&P. Hate to tell you this, but I think we're going to do a little bit more consolidation work around the 80 to the 70 marker. The point of control is right here where we're at the moment. So it's a magnet, and we're going to snap to it and rotate around it. So we're going to probably start out with a range trading idea. The market's consolidating all-time highs, and that's okay. Because what traders like to do is create a strategy for markets that move. Like next time it moves this much, I'm going to do this. All right, but they don't realize that the market's only moving 30% of the time and consolidating 70% of the time. Why? The 70% balance, where markets are even, there's buying and selling, it stays in a range. The 70% balance leads to so much trading between people, the buy and the sell side, that there's a temporary imbalance which gets settled within 30% of the time, and we get back to finding balance. The market is all about moving size, and when you move size, you need rotations. Rotations create structure, which is rectangle or sideways. Very few people in this business could explain that concept to you. All right. 1 p.m. results of a 27 billion 10-year note auction. 3:15 Fed's Harker speaking. 6:30 Fed's Williams is speaking. That's what we got for you. Enjoy your day. Manage your risk trade at TradePro. Come check us out for the trading room. Today at 10:30, we're going to trade oil, and it's going to be epic. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and be careful out there. It's quiet, but that doesn't rule out some kind of tape bomb, a big release of a news event that comes out. it shakes up the whole market. Take care. Goodbye. All right, Trade Pros in the building. Thanks, Zach. Zach said, nice jersey. It's a little big, Zach. You know, hockey jerseys, you never know. It all depends on the brand. But it's individually stitched, the letters and the logo. So that's kind of cool. You know, most of them have the crest on the front. Anywho, you guys have merch yet? Evan. Evan. Yes, we're working on it. 2020 Q1, 100%. All right. Yes, you did miss the oil inventory talking. L. Your name is L and you came in late. That's not a coincidence. I think you should change it to E and you'll come in early. But we'll see you in the trading room. We're going to cover it there. Off to the trading room now that I speak of it. And I'm going to put Steven on the mic, who's our resident oil expert. He's going to tell us a little bit about the oil market. Then we're going to trade the inventory report together. So, good, sir. I am putting you on as panelist in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Take care, YouTube. Have a great day.